Let's go to the Toms River Volkswagen Sports Hotline and welcome in our good buddy, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene. Good morning, Tommy Greene.
Good morning, Billy.
Hey,
I hope you haven't got. I hope you're not too far deep in that pot of coffee.
Oh, dude, so a buddy of mine, Johnny Grinder from Burger Realty, I was complaining about putting weight on. He said, just start drinking coffee. I said, really? He goes, yeah, I drank coffee. I when I started drinking coffee, he said he lost 18 pounds. I said, all right, so I've had like 7 cups in the last 3 days. It's not working.
Real quick, before we get to the meat and potatoes of this conversation, some Phillies news. So they promoted Seth Johnson from AAA to join the bullpen and DFA'd Jose Ruiz after yesterday's game. It was a disaster.
All right, Tommy. Yesterday was a football score, 17-7. Have you ever been on the opposite end, or the same end of the score? Like, have you ever lost by that big of a number?
I've pitched in games that got like that. Yeah. Not that I gave up 12 runs. I don't know how many the most I.
Yeah, 12.
The most I ever gave up is like 7 or 8 runs, maybe. Yeah.
They even had Weston Wilson throw 2 innings last night.
Started 58-mile-per-hour curveball.
Guess what? He's got his ERA is 0.00.
Hey, that shows you. It's just keep it simple, and most time hitters get themselves out.
Better than Luzardo.
All right, Tommy Greene. We lost Alvarado. The bullpen's a big concern. It looks like we have a few extra starting pitchers, especially with Mick Abel and Painter down at the farm, and with the starting line. So what would you do? Would you move one of those starters, Suarez, Painter, bring him up, or Mick Abel? Would you do that and put him in the bullpen? Who would you put in the bullpen?
Oh my God! I mean, those guys haven't really done that. How could you bring them and do it in the big leagues just like right off the bat in the heat of battle? Tommy. That's what
I'm asking. Can a starter like a younger? Would it be easier to put a younger player in that role, like get an opportunity in the bigs as a reliever, or would it be more advantageous to put, say, like Ranger Suarez back there?
Well, I mean, I'd like to have that experience going into the bullpen. How are you going to use him?
Right.
How are you going to use that guy? You bringing that young guy up to be one of the main guys in the bullpen? You're setting him up to fail. Huh. So, I would more towards a veteran guy. If you were going to do it.
Yeah, the only thing is
you were going to do it.
Yeah, but the only thing is, Tommy, and we discussed this yesterday on the show. The rest of the league knows that we're desperate for pitching. There's a lot of other teams in the same predicament as the Phillies, but we just lost Alvarado for 80 games. So whoever we deal with, they're going to hold us hostage. They're going to ask for a king's ransom because they know we're desperate.
Well, that's the nature of the beast, man. If you want it, you go get it. Right. It's going to cost you.
Got to give something to get something.
If you get somebody quality, unless you got somebody down in the bullpen kind of going the right way as a reliever, then you take a chance, maybe.
I think obviously the Phillies are they as good as their record indicates, Tommy? Because I know your philosophy. Don't get too excited when things are going great. Don't get too low when things are going bad. But the Phillies, you can't blame the Phillies for beating teams on their schedule. But they did play the Colorado Rockies, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the A's, the Athletics. They did their job. They swept 2 or 3 of those series. But are they as good as their record indicates, Tommy?
Well, obviously, they won the games, so, they are good. But are they consistent? And that's the thing. Right now, they tend, when they run into quality, real good pitching, for a stretch, it kind of gives them a little bit of issue. Yeah. But that's what I've noticed in the past. But, but that's the nature of the game. Good pitching shuts down
good
hitting.
Yeah.
So, that's why everybody's after good pitching all the time.
Hey, Tommy, it's Danny Ryan here. In your honest opinion, I got to ask you. And
he's always honest on his show, Danny.
Yeah, of course. But I want to ask you a little bit about Andrew Painter after this question. But do you think, we mentioned it a little bit, do you think this is going to be a big deadline for Dave Dombrowski. Do you think he's going to go out and make some big splashes? And if so, I mean, obviously we talked about the bullpen, but do you think he can make a big splash in the outfield? Like, do you think that's an actual possibility, or do you think it'll be just more, targeting bullpen help?
Well, I don't put nothing by Dave Dombrowski. So I'm thinking that, they've been talking about it the last couple of years. I mean, like, especially this year being the year they make that big push to win it.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking they're going to, if somebody's out there that's going to move the needle like that, I see them possibly trying to do that. So, it's all going to depend on what's be required for them to give up. They're not going to give up Painter.
Yeah, you can't. So, and I wouldn't give up.
I don't want to give up Abel.
I wouldn't give up. I think you might have to give up Abel if you want to get someone good.
But it's our future.
Yeah, but also you have to take consideration as well. He was not doing great the past couple of years. This is a great year for him. But
Tommy, maybe he turned the corner. You can do that, right?
You never know. It's the thing. The maturity, the maturations of a young guy comes at different times. It's going to be a little sooner and a little bit later. So it's you got to make that decision. Mm-hmm. To get something you want, you got to give up something they want. Right.
I think
that's going to be interesting.
I think any package, if you get a real difference maker, it's going to start with probably Mick Abel and then Justin Crawford. Those are, two good prospects, but, a little bit lower tier if you're considering, comparing them to Aiden Miller and Andrew Painter. But I did mention Andrew Painter to you, Tommy. I want to bring him up a little bit. It came out this week, a couple days ago, that Rob Thompson said he would not expect Andrew Painter to be up before the All-Star break. The team's actually going to give him a bit of a breather right around the All-Star break. They're saying July has always been the target for him. Everything can be fluid, but it seems like the plan for him is to have a post-All-Star break debut. Do you agree with this timetable for Andrew Painter? We were talking at the beginning of the show. It's almost been 2 years since he got Tommy John surgery. Now, you don't want to rush your number one overall prospect, top 10 prospect in the majors, but do you agree with this timetable for him, or would you rather see him up at some point this month or maybe even early July?
Well, you look at how old is the young man?
Yeah, he's a spry one.
Everybody wants to push. He's gonna show you what he's ready for, and he's got to check the box as he goes, And they're going to treat him with kid gloves, and it's not like it used to be, Which they got so much more money invested as a first round pick, so they're going to take care of this guy.
Yeah. Bullpen help isn't going to come cheap. That's for sure. We're
No. I was just watching on TV. I was watching the Rays closer.
Right.
That guy'd be interesting. Down at that we've had some dealings with them before. So.
We're talking with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene, as we do each and every Sunday throughout the baseball season, sponsored by Blitz's Market. Tommy, this week, Bryce Harper gets plunked on the elbow, his surgically repaired elbow. He gets plunked. There's a lot being made about Phillies pitchers retaliating. I kind of think that Phillies missed an opportunity to show that they're together as one. Now, I know you're old school. I wanted retaliation. What say you?
Oh, there's going to be some point that happens. Was that the point that needs to happen right there in that game? That was one of the only games we won this week.
Yeah. Right.
I think.
And
so
game one of the doubleheader was close, too.
You got to make it sure it's the right spot.
Yeah, but Tommy, if it's any time they're going to do it, it's only May. You're not doing it in late August, early September when the games really count. You can't afford to put a guy on because you're hanging on every pitch.
Well, it all depends on if we get in a game like we did yesterday and we happen to be on the good end of it. It doesn't matter. It gets like that. Somebody wears one.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You gotta pitch in, and there's one thing pitching in is another thing knowing how to pitch in.
Right.
Now the thing that bothered me about that situation with Harper is how does a right-hander miss that far inside?
Exactly.
To a left-handed batter. He wasn't throwing a breaking ball. He didn't hit him with a breaking ball. He hit him with a fastball.
Yeah.
That ball was basically in the middle of his back.
Think about it. Because it was up
He
high.
Back and got him in the elbow.
Yeah. Tommy, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question, Tommy.
He's got to be wearing an elbow guard, by the way.
Hypothetically, Tommy, if Nails or Hollins gets plunked in a game and you're on the mound, do they come up to you and say, you know what you got to do? Like, do they give you like a sign?
No, they don't say that. It's pretty much it's unsaid a lot.
It's understood.
I mean, a lot of times it's just a look between me and the catcher, or whoever it is pitching.
Well, Tommy, we all
looked at you.
But we all know the game has
changed.
changed.
At you in that situation, you did it.
Yeah, but we all know the game's changed. The players are a lot different than they were when you played. Like, there's these young cats, my locker room youth movement, they're all proponents of not retaliating. I just don't get it.
Here's the thing, Billy. Everybody thinks everybody's out there as a robot, and they hit every spot they throw at.
Yeah.
And I hate the word spot. So you got to be able to pitch inside with a purpose. Sometimes you're not trying to hit the inside corner all the time.
Right.
You're trying to run it off the plate to get their attention to make them move a little bit. So they don't get comfortable in the box. They got to know you'll come in there.
And if you take that away if you take that away from a pitcher, or a pitcher won't go inside for fear or whatever, it's a game of intimidation, man.
That's what they've done. In the fact that, first of all, they're wearing body armor. Okay.
No, they are.
And then, the second off, if somebody throws one off the plate inside, everybody takes offense to it, and you got a chance of being kicked out of a ball game if the umpire sees that it's possibly on purpose.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Tom.
Sometimes the ball gets away from you inside a little bit. We're not perfect.
Yeah, but Tommy, when Bryce Harper gets hit plunked like 4 times, like in the last 15 or 20 games, he's our best player. You got to protect him.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying. If he's, like I said, my problem with Strider is how does he miss that much? That's a right-hander against a left-hander.
Right.
If he's getting hit, the lefty on lefty, that ball tends to run in, and he gets hit on the arm or whatever like that. That's part of the game sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just gonna play.
You cannot care or fear hitting somebody.
I need to play devil's advocate just for a second here, though. I mean, if you know you have a surgically repaired elbow, why are you not wearing an elbow guard out there? Especially when you know they're going to brush you off the plate. Like, you have to be prepared for something like that to happen.
Obviously, he's not having an issue with that elbow until now.
Right.
Yeah. So so he'll probably be wearing something. I know I would.
Yeah. They came out and said that he is going to be wearing an elbow guard, at least to when he kind of gets back into the swing of things.
All right. Today we have
where it got him at. If it got his bone. If it got on the bone and got a bone bruise, that thing hurts for a while.
Yeah.
All right, today we got Ranger Suarez on the hill. He's 4-0 with a 2.97 ERA, Tommy. What do you think about Rangers? He's turned it around. He had a slow start. He didn't start the season. He was on the IL, I believe. And now he's 4-0 with a low ERA. He's looking
what
pretty...
do you hear me tell? What I tell you all the time, Billy? Leave him alone. Let him go. We was somebody right here today, and we got to stop the bleeding a little bit.
All right.
So, I mean, as a starting pitcher, we need him to go.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
We need him.
Are you worried about Luzardo after that 12? You gave up 12 runs last night.
No, I mean, it shocked me. It shocked me that they left him in there that long, but it happened so fast.
Right.
So, I mean, and I looked at. I mean, I didn't watch the whole game, but I went back and looked and. I mean, even though, he pitched, 3 1/3 or whatever, he didn't throw but 70-some pitches. Yeah, it's not like he threw 100, 110.
I got it right here. He threw 76 pitches, 48 for strikes, but it was already top of the first. They scored 4 runs right off the bat.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Except that if you walk a guy, you got to admit, they come out hacking. They were ready. He made a mistake. They put the ball in play, and they found holes, and it doesn't. And then the big blow, and then the big was Hoskins.
Yeah,
yeah. So he did that twice. It's 3-run homers kill you. Not that it would have mattered in the scheme of things. They still scored 11 runs without Hoskins.
Right.
So it's just one of those days you take it on the cheek and you come out there and try to lay it to them.
What do you think the atmosphere is like after a game like that in that locker room?
I think if not, I'd be a little teed off.
To say the least.
I mean, because they come out there and whoop your butt.
They got embarrassed.
Yeah, it can get like that. I mean, but I've seen teams hitting's contagious sometimes, and there were some good pitches he made yesterday. They put the ball in play and they found holes. Yeah. It's just one of those days where. I mean, a lot of times you can just tip your cap, hey, it wasn't our day. Yeah. That still doesn't stop you from being upset. And, hey, let's go take it to them today. That's the mentality you got to have.
Well, let's hope they do it. Tommy, as always, we got to run, but as always, we really appreciate you and your insight. And have a great rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you next Sunday.
Okay, pal.
There he is, Tommy Greene on the Tom's River Volkswagen Sports Hotline. On the Mound is brought to you by Blitz's Market of Ocean City.